Hello everybody and welcome back to Unit 2 of Regents Chemistry, which is Atomic Concepts. Today we will be talking about the last part of this chapter, which is Lewis diagrams. So 6 is going to be the number of valence electrons for sulfur. And remember that because the valence electrons are the farthest away from the nucleus, they are the ones that have the most energy. Because remember, electrons that are closer to the nucleus, they are in the lower energy levels, they have less energy. Electrons that are farther away from the nucleus, they are in higher energy levels, they have high energies. So let's look at how many valence electrons do we have in some of these elements. So go ahead and find cobalt in your reference table packet, which looks like this. The electron configuration is 2, 8, 15, and 2. Look at how many electrons do we have in the last orbit. And that turns out to be 2 valence electrons for cobalt. Next up, we have beryllium. This is what beryllium looks like in your periodic table. The electron configuration is 2, 8, 18, 7. Valence electrons are the electrons in the last orbit. So in this case, that turns out to be 7 valence electrons for beryllium. So we can use these number of valence electrons and we can present them in a very admirable way, just like you guys see in this diagram below. All this diagram is showing you is that how many valence electrons do we have in each of these elements. So for example, from this diagram, if you look at neon, you see 8 dots, which means neon has 8 valence electrons. If you look at fluorine, which is F, it has 7 dots, which means fluorine has 7 valence electrons. So just one thing to remember, which you guys can also see in this picture that we have on the slide, is that we can only have a maximum of 2 dots representing 2 electrons on each side, each of the 4 sides of your symbol. So let's try to write the valence electrons for cobalt. Here's the electron configuration. The number of valence electrons is 2. So here we have the symbol for cobalt. When we write the valence, or when we draw the valence electrons, we can just go ahead and draw 2 dots right there. And there you go. We have a Lewis diagram for cobalt. Let's practice that for neon. Here's the electron configuration for neon. It's got 8 valence electrons. So we start with the symbol for neon. And we just start drawing the valence electrons. So just make those dots for each electron. So we've got 1, 2. We can only have 2 on this side, so we move on to the next side. 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. And there you go. We have a Lewis diagram for neon. And that, my dear friends, is how we draw the Lewis diagrams using to represent the valence electrons of any element. And there you go. That is the end of Unit 2. So I'm going to peace out with that. I hope you guys stay safe and well. I will see you guys in the next chapter.